Hello everyone. In this video we are going to learn about class equations. Class equations play an important role to study non-abelian groups. We can prove that many interesting results using class equations like Cauchy theorem for non-abelian groups and Silo theorems. First of all, we define conjugacy relation of a group. Now we consider G is a multiplicative group and E is the identity element of the group. Then we say that an element B of G is said to be conjugate of an element A if there exists an element of G such that B can be written in form of A using that element which exists. Like we say B is a conjugate of A, then there exists an element C such that B can be expressed as C inverse AC. Now you can see here, if G is an abelian group, then AC can be written as CA and again B becomes A. Therefore this concept is very much trivial on abelian group, so we always assume that we are considering non-abelian group. Now we define an equivalence relation on G such that A is related to B under this relation if A is a conjugate of B. Then it is quite easy to show that this relation is an equivalence relation. You can see reflexivity with respect to identity element of every element. Symmetry is there and transitive condition holds. So therefore we find that this relation is an equivalence relation and this relation is called conjugacy relation. Now we define conjugacy classes. As you know that the relation of conjugate elements is an equivalence relation on G. Therefore this relation partitions gives a partition for G, and this partition in form of equivalence classes we will call them conjugacy classes, given by this way: class of A in which B belongs to G such that A is related to B. It means that class of A contains all conjugates elements of A. Since A is a conjugate of itself with respect to identity element, so class of A is non-empty. And you know about properties of equivalence classes. You can see that either they will disjoint or they will be identical, and collection of union of all these classes will cover G, and therefore G is a union of all these classes. And it is interesting to note that G is abelian if and only if class of every element is that element itself. This is an interesting result, and this is the key result in proving class equation. In fact, first of all, we introduce normalizer of an element. You can see that if a element belongs to center, then normalizer of that element will coincide with the group. Okay, so it is very obvious we are considering normalizer of that elements which are not in center of group. So this is the propositions in which we are dealing with a finite group, and A is an element of G. Then the number of conjugate elements in the conjugate class of A is equal to the index of Na in G. So Na is a subgroup of G. G is a finite group. Obviously, by Lagrange's theorem, order of Na divides order of G, so we can take index K. So Na has, we can assume Na has index K in G. Okay, it means that Na has K distinct right cosets. You may assume left coset, but there we are using notation C inverse AC of conjugate elements. So therefore we will assume right cosets. If we take element conjugate element different way, like C AC inverse, then we will assume left coset. So this should be noted there. We are considering right coset because of the definition of conjugate element. Okay, now we have considered K right cosets NaX1, NaX2, NaXK. There are some elements in G which constitute these cosets x1, x2, xk. So now we can use these elements of G to form conjugate elements of A, and we collect all these elements in this set X, a collection of conjugate elements. Okay, now since since you know that normalizer is a subgroup proper, we are considering it is not in center, so N is a proper subgroup of group G and has a K distinct cosets. So therefore these elements of X will be distinct. It can be verified easily. If you take two right cosets identical, then you will find xi equal xj. So if xi equal xj, then how the two right coset can be identical, can be different? Okay, so since right cosets of Na are distinct, so elements of X are also distinct. So we claim that X is in fact class of A. So for this we will prove X contains class of A and class of A contains X. So first of all we will prove that class of A is contained in X. So let Y be any element of class of A, then Y is a conjugate of A. So there exists an element C belongs to G such that Y equals C inverse AC. Okay, now you see that C belongs to G and G is a union of the right cosets NaXi. So C must be in one of at least one of the right coset. Okay, exactly, you may say one of the right coset NaXi, and therefore C can be taken as Bxi for some B belongs to Na. Obviously AB equal Ba in this case. Now we compute Y substituting the value of C by Bxi. You will find that this is Bxi inverse A Bxi, and using the property of inverse elements, product of two inverse element, you will have this relation, and finally it comes turns out xi a xi, which is an element of X. So it is the case when class of A is contained in X. You by definition of X, you can see X contains conjugate of A. So obviously X is also contained in class of A, therefore X equal class of A. So proposition 1 is very interesting. We recorded many results using this proposition. Okay, now we now come to next slide for class equation. Okay, this is the layout of class equation. G is a finite group, then class equation is this which shows that order of G is equal to order of center plus order of this, you can see right side, summation varies over the elements which are not in center. It means that equivalence class of these elements has at least two elements, and you see that order of G upon this is order of Na. We will see here. So in next slide we will going to prove this case. Okay, in this next slide, class equation. G is a finite group. Okay, G can be written as union of conjugate classes, disjoint conjugate classes. If CA, this you can see small CA here in second line. If CA denotes the number of elements in the conjugate class, okay, CA is a number, okay. So you can see here order of G can be written as a summation of number of element of class of A, because these are disjoint classes. So summation A belongs to G CA. CA denotes the number of element in conjugate class of A. Now we can divide this summation in two disjoint cases. When A is in center, A is not in center. So by proposition this you see CA is the index of Na in G, the number of distinct right coset in G. Note that CA equal 1 for all A belongs to center. You know that in case if A belongs to center, Na equal to G, or you can also think about class of A. You know that if A belongs to center, then class of A contains only A element. So it means that class of A contains one element. So small ca, this is 1. So for every element of center, class of A contributes 1. It means that here in green, here is blue in summation with blue color. You can see that this contributes all elements of center. So every element of center contribute 1. So the summation becomes order of center of G. And the next part is it is in red color. You see that it can be replaced by this proposition with CA order of G upon order of Na. So it is a simple description of this class equation I have given. Now I will discuss some its applications, not all but some. Okay, this is applications. Now you can think about a group G of order p raised to power n. P group, we can say a group is said to be P group if its order is p raised to power n, or sometimes we say that order of every element is p raised to power n. So now we consider a group of order p raised to power n. Now you can see p is a prime and n is an integer. Okay, now we take an element of G which is not in center. So normalizer will be a proper subgroup in this case of G. So by Lagrange's theorem, you know that it is very much holds for P group when order of p raised to power n. So you see that order of Na is p raised to power k, and since Na is different from G, so k will be less than n. It follows that p divides order of G upon order of Na. This number p will divide this, because you see that the denominator is p raised to power k and numerator is pk, and so number is p raised to power n minus k with k is less than n. So it means that n minus k is at least 1. So therefore by class equation you can see here by class equation. P divides this, and P also divide this for every A does not belongs to center, so therefore P will divide this order of center. So now you can see here, the first result, let order of G P raised to power n, then order of G greater than 1. It means that center contains at least P element. We have proved that P divides order of center of the group. Sometimes this property is known as a non-trivial property of center. If order of G is P raised to power n, then it has a non-trivial center. It is very interesting property. So now this is the definition, and now using this result we can prove that if every group of order P raised to power P square is abelian, every group of order P square is abelian. So you can see about the center when n equal to 2, obviously order of G is P square, so center will be non-trivial, so order of center will be P or P square. If its order is P square, then you will find that G is abelian, and it was required. If order of center is P, in this case you find an element A belongs to G which is not in center, and in that case normalizer of A coincide with G, and that will be the problem when we will consider non-abelian case, because center is different from order of G. So this is the problem, this is the contradictory statement, and therefore every group of order P square is abelian here. So now we can prove Cauchy theorem. We have proved Cauchy theorem for finite abelian groups. Now we can generalize using this class equations, the Cauchy theorem. So we can prove that. So we are not going to prove here. So G is a finite group, P divides order of G, then there exists a non-identity element X belongs to G such that X raised to power P equal E. So this is a Cauchy theorem. Okay, now we have discussed some applications of class equation 2. Okay, now this is the case when we are going to next slide. This is some books I suggest here. Hassan or Damet Fute. These are two books. You can go through these books also. Thank you for listening me. Thank you.